Mao's Top 10 Moments, selected and presented by Helen. Event number 10. In October 1927, Mao led a small group of Hunan peasants to the mountains of Jiangxi province. This is where Mao and other party members created a Soviet-style government and began to build a guerrilla army. They also gained peasant support in part by redistributing land. It was in Jiangxi the fledgling Red Army developed the strategies that would defeat the Nationalists 22 years later. Event number 9. In 1956, a case in point was Mao's policy of letting 100 flowers bloom. This policy was made to enlist support among China's intellectual elite by promoting a free exchange of views. However, the exchanges in some cases led to criticism of the Communist Party, and Mao sent the intellectuals to the countryside for re-education. Event number 8. In Mao's late teens, he joined the provincial unit of the Revolutionary Army. The experience evidently satisfied his boyhood fascination with the exploits of military heroes. Mao ended up only serving for 6 months, and when he returned to Changsha, he couldn't decide what to study. Event number 7. In 1923, the Comintern directed the Chinese Communists to work with the Nationalist Party. The Comintern had promised them that if he would ally with the Communists, the Soviet Union would give him military advisors and arms to build a viable army that could reunify the country by overthrowing the warlords. In March 1925, the Nationalist Party was taken over by Chiang Kai-shek. One of Chiang's first moves was to expel communists from leadership posts. By early 1927, the tenuous alliance was broken, and the communists were retreating to the countryside. Event number 6. On December 26, 1893, Mao was born in Shaoshan, a village in the Hunan province of China. His father was a peasant who had risen above his circumstances to become a prosperous farmer and grain dealer. His father wanted him to become a farmer, but Mao wanted more education beyond the village's grammar school. Mao left home at age 13 to attend an advanced school in a nearby district. Event number 5. In 1958, Mao launched the Great Leap Forward. The Great Leap Forward was planned to develop agriculture and industry. Mao believed that both had to grow to allow the other to grow. Industry could only prosper if the workforce was well fed, while the agriculture workers needed industry to produce the modern tools needed for modernization. To allow for this, China was reformed into a series of communes. Event number 4. In 1966, Mao launched the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution. Mao started the Cultural Revolution so that he could use his Red Army to get rid of the four old and establish the four news. Mao also aimed at using the Cultural Revolution to strengthen the Communist Party. In 1976, the Cultural Revolution ended and China largely blamed him for everything that went wrong during the past 2 decades. Event number 3. In 1921, the first session of the National Congress of the Communist Party of China was attended by 13 delegates, including Mao. Mao set up the Changsha branch, also establishing a branch of the Socialist Youth Corps, opening a bookstore under the control of his new Cultural Book Society. Its purpose was to propagate revolutionary literature throughout Hunan. He was involved in the movement for Hunan autonomy, hoping that the Hunan constitution would increase civil liberties in the province, making his revolutionary activity easier. Event number 2. In 1934, Chiang unleashed his best-trained units against the Jiangxi enclave, and the communists were forced to flee. This began the legendary Long March, a 6,000-mile fighting retreat from Jiangxi to the mountain town of Yang'an in remote northern Shaanxi province. Only a tenth of the 80,000 guerrilla fighters who began the march survived. From this point forward, Mao was the undisputed Chinese communist leader, even through all the military setbacks and internal political purges. Event number 1. On October 1st, 1949, Mao led the communists to victory against the nationalists. Mao gained victory against the nationalists after more than 20 years of civil war and proclaims the founding of the People's Republic of China. The nationalists end up retreating to the island of Taiwan and set up a government there.